My noise cancellation is fine. It's just a little dude, high pitch. Yeah, I might want to work on it. Anyway, he's cute and he's in the library. So don't worry about that. I want to talk because today is obviously what we consider Juneteenth as a holiday. Yet it was actually, I believe, June 21st that this took place. The last slaves in Texas were emancipated. So, emancipation, as I stated, is basically divorcing your parents while living in their house. Today, we're going to talk about separating from our parents, one or both, and what we do. Now, see, me, I was not born into chattel slavery. Just wasn't. Um, my last name is Paxton by way of we're Paxtons. They had to marry into the family, so to speak, vice versa. That's something that a lot of the indigenous really learned. What's his name? John Smith, Pocahontas type stuff, right? Which is why at the time that the law was created, if you were connected to Pocahontas because of him, then you were considered native. Didn't matter if there were other tribes or the culture of other beings, right? So then everyone had to go and show and prove that, like Pocahontas, they were a part of a particular tribe. And there were certain things that were required in order for that to exist. Move that forward, and you get white supremacists who put their doctrine over other people's ish so that they can just be in control of someone else's life. That's how you get your white Jesus Christ who gets martyred in broad daylight. While everyone else believes that God is such a loving being and a father creator of all things would never do that and did not allow said thing to happen. Okay? That's the long and the short of all of it. White supremacists want you to believe that they are the great white hope and hype in society. The varnish, the sheen, the shine is coming off that thing, and underneath you're finding out there's nothing but fool's gold. He may have the Midas touch. That just means that everything he touches turns to gold and is of no use to anyone anymore. He's gilding the lily that is the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump is the people's chosen president until the people choose to put him out of office. There are a host of ways to do that. They've gone through the court system. They haven't gone and ransacked anything specifically. Has he been shot at? Possibly. However, when you look at his presidency and you put it underneath Ronald Reagan, no, let's say over Reagan's presidency, and then you remove everything that's the same, what's left that's original to this man, that isn't underhanded, dirty, conniving, scheming? He didn't come in clean about the Russian thing. You see, this is the thing though. You gotta remember. He was already under an immunity deal. That immunity deal means he must squeal like a piglet, just like every president, ladies and gentlemen. Which is why I went ahead and ran for the office. I got enough information to give away that you can say that I'm squealing. It's just I try to point out to the society that we are being led astray every day. We were on our way to be communists. Now you finally got a democratic socialist in California, I believe. Yeah, you all talk about California as if it is like the bastard alien baby. And then you made Men in Black here in Arizona so that you would have like this uh, wall, right? Where you could stop the aliens from coming in all the borders. You can just cut them off, California, Mexico. And then you remembered that all y'all still, America, the company, belongs to the Europeans. Americans as human beings belong to Europeans. You call yourself Italian American, Asian American, African American, Black American. None of you are American. I am. I'm an indigenous American black woman because you call me black and well, God made me a woman. I was born on this land. You called it America, so I'm an indigenous woman coming up in America, a second nation inside of my nation, pretending to be a First Nation. I had to civilize you 85ers. Hmm? Now you know how to sing and dance and tell the white man to kiss you. The same way that I do. Feels good too, doesn't it? You want to stand on your Americanness or you want to be black like me? The fruit don't fall far from the tree. Now do it, baby. If I'm Eve, then you're my apple. If I'm Lilith, then you're my Eve. Eve gave birth to the first murderer because she lay with Adam. Adam's sin was not killing Cain in the end. That would have completely wiped out the idea of there being any more killing in that bloodline. Adam could have dealt with it over time. Eve could have got her life right with God. That's what it is. One seed murders another seed. How is that seed going to ever turn out to be a good seed? You can't nurture away a choice made. You nurture the afterlife. That's why those people in those religious spaces say you train up a child in the way that they shall go. Right? The rest of that statement. Right? And then there's the other one. When I was a child, I did childish things. When I became a man, I put away childish things. And da 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 da. Right? All of these things leave out woman, the womb, the provider of the space where life grows, the earth, the facilitator of birth. Without woman, there is no man. So we're at the point in history where divine femininity must rise to accommodate the swollen ego of the divine masculine. We want to treat him like a sweet dove, risen too much, just about to be overproof. Gotta punch him down a bit without doing damage to his cellular structure. Want to have a nice crumb texture. I know my baking. I know my culinary history. I know a lot of things. Pays to be me. It pays to know me. That's the difference between the goose who laid the golden egg and Midas. See, I'm no duck. You can't pluck my feathers and you can't pluck my nerves. What you can do is understand that when I say this, it's not meant as an offense. Since everyone wants to self-identify as X, Y, and Z, we're going to give them the opportunity. This current president has already decided that everyone has to, on males at least, this is already done, but they have to like literally do it. I believe it should apply to women too, right? So we've got 5 months and some change to do this. Women have to also enroll in the selective service, number one. Number two, you'll be allowed to identify, but like this. a woman or a man, whichever race you are, um, whether or not you want to be a nurse, doctor, lawyer, whatever, right? And then what we're going to do is put you in 85% groups. So we're going to have we're going to have a unit 85% female, 85% male, 85% of all of the races, each unit. We're going to have a unit of nurses, a unit of doctors, a unit of lawyers. Now you can decide. You want to be all these races or you want to have a goddamn job. We are over the dumb shit. Those of you who are on disability, do not think that we are leaving you out, ladies and gentlemen. My pilot program is for disabled veterans and homeless people and those in active recovery. We're going to give you $75 a week in free weed. We're going to give you universal basic income at the amount of $1,000 a month. Don't get greedy. We're going to give you housing, $1,000 worth of housing. You get another $1,000. You can either spend it on more housing or you can save it. You know, the universal basic income. So you could walk away from our program after 6 months to 2 years with up to $24,000 that is yours to keep because you didn't spend that money. You lived frugally while you were inside of the program. You worked on your mental health. You got your life right with whatever you believe it is helping you get through this universe, right? Because we ain't trying to force nobody's religion on anybody. And here's the kicker, right? You can move into the program where we've already got veterans who are for their housing for the 2 year program are giving an apprenticeship to one adult and one younger person. Mhm. They get to keep their tiny home or whatever it is space that they're in, if it's a condo, right? They get to keep that. Or because they've been in their 2 years, they can pay us market value to clean it up and we will assist them in selling it and we will take a small portion of the proceeds so that we can make use of it again. We'll have to refurnish it and things like that. That's the nonprofit. Okay. There are spaces at this point. I built this out for the current Tucson market and to scale it, right? To start with, because my cousin Demario wanted to own a mile of land in every state where his friends could get their life together and be fathers and husbands after being abused and brutalized by the system as children. So, a mile of land in every state where there would be tiny homes. This program had already been offered once and someone stole it, and your city stole it again. That's why your city is under judgment at this time. That's why y'all going bankrupt, hand over fist, because Regina Romero won't come up off of it. You hear what I'm saying, you know I can end homelessness and poverty. Now you're pissed. Aim your anger at Regina Romero, the city council, and the United States government, not my pretty little black ass. I've been right here beside you, and I didn't have to. I served the United States government since I was 13 years old. I signed my ID card when I was 11. I became an ambassador to this country whether I wanted to or not. Time has not stopped, luckily, for you all. You that I sat at the cafeteria table with just may be capable of speaking to their own president. And you can set a precedent of being global the way we were as children. That's what the government's been banking on since they put me in that little bubble. That has been president after president after president until Donald Trump and Joe Biden. One compromised and one dying before our eyes. No one said anything. Now you've got a criminal in office. He's either cleaning up his record and his own mess, or he's going to have to confess to the crimes that I am now speaking of, being new evidence that he did not share with the government, which will make him go to prison for treason. That's why, as I said back when he said, okay, the Gestapo type tactics of a firing squad, he knows he's not God. So before he goes before the firing squad, he still got to do his part. So he can naked before man and God and admit his sins. If he has any chance of getting to heaven in the end, he ain't gonna have no money, right? He used all of his funds to defend himself against the allegations, 26, whatever, 2016 to now, bankrupt, hand over fist, trillions of dollars in some Bitcoin scam that he can't get out. They froze his bank accounts. A scared little man. You really want him to have his hands on the nuclear weapon? Aren't you thankful? I raised my hand. I know. I know. Pete Hegseth doesn't want you to. You want to know how close I am to the Pentagon in 2001? My cousin, my uncle, worked in the Pentagon. My cousin was supposed to be in the daycare. That same uncle worked for Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton wrote my mother a letter when she was passing with stomach cancer in 1996. I don't know how many degrees you want to call it. One dude between me and the over 1996. The Obamas may have copied my lyrics. What they didn't do was expose me to you idiots. Nobody could save me from the abuses that took place inside of my marriage of me and the creator of all things. I was still safe when I first got to Tucson. Somebody in this city outed me. Even going on the internet. One of you people had no clue where I was until you forced me outside. And it's just been cat and mouse ever since. Enjoy your prison sentences. I don't feel for you. May the Most High bless and keep you.